Alright, this is John Cola with OKRaw.com. Today we have another exciting episode for you. This episode is just me, one of my famous rant videos where I just kind of go off on a specific topic. So, what I want to ask you guys is, how much do you make? How much does I make? How much do I make? How much do I make? Well, in what sense? Do I make $99,000? No, we're not talking about money, and I don't really care how much money you guys make, because how much money you guys make shows me, or teaches me, or tells me about other people how good they are at this one skill of making money. Hey, making money is great. Unfortunately, we need it in our society to function and live, to pay people for stuff and to buy stuff and all these things. I'm not a big fan of the whole financial thing, but I participate in it because I have to. But what I'm really concerned about in this episode is how much food do you make in terms of percentage of food. I was actually driving back from the local market today, and I was like, man, that'd be a good video. So I'm just throwing the camera up and turning it on, and I'm like, man, I make like 99% of what I eat. You know, everything that goes into my mouth, I make it myself with these two hands. I'm not gonna say it is not a lot of work. I do a lot more food prep than most people do, and probably what some people would consider an insane amount of food prep so that I could eat my healthy diet. And I want you guys to increase the percentage of the food that you make yourself, right? I have friends that just, you know, go out and eat all the time, and like they always have something pre-made from Whole Foods or, you know, different restaurants, you know, and when you eat out, you know, hey, it's convenient because you did not have to make it, but I want you guys to understand and realize what you are sacrificing. This has been a large part of what I have been doing for the last 27 years since I became eating a healthy, fruit and vegetable dominated, unprocessed or minimally processed raw diet predominantly. And that's what I want you guys to do as well. Even if you're not on my diet or whatever diet you are, I don't care whatever diet you guys are on, I want you guys to prepare your own food at home. There's so many benefits to preparing your own food at home. And, you know, you're just not going to ever have that level of health you want to achieve if you guys are still eating out and letting others dictate to you what you guys need to eat. So in this episode, I want to go over the 10 simple reasons or benefits of making food yourself. Knowing this information may just inch you forward to be more open to making food at home. And then also at the end of this episode, I'll share with you guys some of my tips that I use so that I can make my own food at home and make it a lot easier with the least amount of time invested to make super healthy food. The first reason why I want you guys to make your own food at home is because you control the portion size. When you go to a restaurant and order the, you know, whatever you order, it could be small, which is probably they're not feeding you enough because it's a gourmet fruit restaurant like many high-end raw food restaurants. They give you stuff this much food for a whole lot of money, and it just never fills me up. That being said, most restaurants will probably serve you guys jumbo-sized meals that contain lots of calories. Just think supersizing your burger at McDonald's. I mean, that's more calories in one meal than I eat probably in the entire day. And so you can't control the portion size when you just go to like a Whole Foods and you buy like a pre-prepared deli, you know, thing in a container. You get that much, and then when you buy it, you're like, oh, I gotta eat the whole thing. Even if it is too much or too little for you, you're still gonna eat the whole thing more than likely. You aren't gonna just stop and throw the other half out because you don't like wasting food like I do probably. But that's a big challenge because now you're eating too much or too little. We always want to eat just the right amount for us. When you make food at home, you can prepare exactly how much you need to eat without any food waste, so that you're never eating too much or too little food. Second reason for making your own food at home is because you will save money. Yes, I mean, I don't know if you guys checked your budget lately, but if you guys eat out a lot, right? Buying like a pre-made little oat milk latte thing at Whole Foods could cost you $4. Make it at home could cost you less than $1, right? These things, some of these things are quite simple to make, but yet I see friends of mine go out and continually buy these, you know, processed food products because they're convenient, easy, and cheap, and they are hooked on them. And I want you guys to just inch away from that. You know, hey, if you're going out and getting your cafe latte 5 days a week, you know, get it 2 days a week and start making it at home 3 days a week, right? That will inch you in the right direction to making more of your food at home. And when you guys make things at home, as we'll talk about, you can control the ingredients, so you can use higher quality ingredients and better processing techniques that I'll be talking about in a minute. Third reason to prepare your own food at home is because you choose the quality, right? I can't go to a restaurant anywhere in my city and have the quality of food that I grow here in my backyard, because no restaurants harvest my food and use it in their restaurants. Actually, I don't even sell my food. I just use it all myself. So, you know, when you guys choose to support a restaurant, you know, you're relying on them to source the highest quality ingredients. Now, yeah, some high-end restaurants may have their own local garden or farm that they support and buy from, and some of the super high-end restaurants have their own garden where they hire a staff to grow the food. That to me is quite impressive. I think every restaurant should be doing that. Unfortunately, only a very small percentage do that. But most places just order stuff from Cisco or the big produce distributor and just get it in, and then they prepare it and then they serve it to you. And unless you're going to a higher end restaurant, most chefs don't really care about the food quality other than knowing that it's not bad. You know, I've been to plenty of restaurants where I get spring mix and the spring mix is like rotten. And that's not cool, in my opinion. And not only that, let's just not even talk about like organic or being concerned if it's on the Clean 15 or Dirty Dozen list, because most restaurants, they don't really care about all those things. They care about making a profit, because that is the reason why they're in business. So if you guys make your own food, you guys could control it. So you could grow a garden, which is probably one of the best things you guys can do. Check out Growing Your Greens, where I teach you guys how to grow the highest quality fruits and vegetables. After that, I would say source your food locally at a local farm. I visited 2 local farms this week, like I do most weeks when I'm not traveling, as well as local farmers markets to support and buy local food, which is in most cases higher quality than food that has been shipped in, trucked in, picked early, refrigerated, and then sold to you. Fourth reason to prepare your own food at home is because you can use the techniques that will maximize the nutrition in the food, if that's important to you. Most Americans probably just don't care how much nutrition is left in the food or how much nutrition is in the food, because I mean, they just eat at fast food restaurants and they don't really care. But if you guys are going to go and source the highest quality ingredients, like even grow a garden, go to local farms, you might as well use the processing techniques that allows you to maximize the benefits in the foods you guys are making. So for example, you know, a juice bar might use a high-speed juicer that oxidizes the juice, that lowers the nutrition. You know, fast food restaurants might deep fry in oil, which creates carcinogens and toxins. You know, so likewise, you can use a slow juicer. I use the Nama J2 juicer, which makes juicing really easy. And that's a slow juicer, so it preserves higher levels of nutrition than a high-speed juicer. And instead of like frying things, you could freeze-dry things or dehydrate things or even air-fry things, which would be way better than frying in oil. That being said, I still do not encourage the use of air frying. The temperature is too hot. My preferred method of heat processing my food is in an Instant Pot with pressure cooking that keeps the temperature low to maximize the nutrition. In addition, if you go out to buy a smoothie at a smoothie shop, right, they're probably just blending up the smoothie in a traditional blender and also adding things like water to add a lot of liquid to the smoothie. And you know, that's not the best way in my opinion. The best way in my opinion is using a vacuum blender, which prevents the oxidation damage to the ingredients as you blend them. And instead of blending in water, I often use juices to make my smoothies. So for example, I could use papaya juice and then blend in some strawberries and blueberries, frozen dragon fruit, frozen cherries, some probiotic powder and some extra fiber, you know, to make an amazing, delicious smoothie that's just light years healthier than buying something at Jamba Juice, and maybe even using pasteurized preserved juices with other additives. The fifth reason is for you guys who are germaphobes, like I kind of am, right? How many times have you guys eaten out or gotten to-go restaurant food and you've gotten a stomachache afterwards, right? That is your microbiome being upset at the food you're eating, likely because of food sanitation or contamination issues, right? If the person that's making the food did not wash their hands, they did not properly sterilize the cutting board, there's, you know, they cut the meat up on that cutting board and then they cut your salad, vegetables up on it. I don't really know what they're doing in the back of the house at restaurants, But I do know when you guys make your own food, it will be more safe than making it at a restaurant, because really a guy making minimum wage is not really going to care so much about what he's doing. Whereas when you're making your own food, it's so important and critical, you know, that you could do the right things to keep your food safe, like properly washing it, sterilizing things, washing off all your utensils, and washing off the cutting boards and everything, and sterilizing things to your specifications. So yeah, it's just gonna be so much safer to eat at home than to eat out. Sixth reason to make your own food is because it's better for the planet. When restaurants and big places have to make a lot of food, they just make food sometimes in advance, sometimes they have to buy big shipments in, and they may not use all the food, so there's incredible amounts of food waste. And let's not forget about the transportation and energy involved to prepare foods that you buy pre-made, or all the prepared foods that companies will make and then they don't sell by the expiration date, and then they just basically have to get thrown away. So when you buy your own food and ingredients to use, you know, you're not cooking your rice or beans until you need to use them, so there's not gonna be any waste. And on fruits and vegetables, if you see them going bad, you could quickly and easily make a recipe out of them. Many fruits and vegetables that I have that might be going bad soon or before they go bad, I juice them up, so I still have the economic and nutritional value from them. Seventh reason to make your own food at home is because scientific studies have shown it will be healthier for you guys to eat, right? Foods that are made, that are not made at home, are shown to have higher calories, more sugar, more fat, and more salt, you know, than things that you guys could make at home. So just that reason alone, I encourage you guys to make your own food at home so that you don't get all those things, because it's also been correlated in studies that eating out more will cause you to be more overweight and not be as healthy as somebody who makes their food, you know, more at home. Eighth reason to prepare your own food at home is to exercise your brain, because when you're making your own food at home, you're gonna have to research, like, you know, what's a good recipe I can make with these ingredients? Whether you use Google or whether you have a recipe book, you know, or whether you want to look into, like, today I bought this stuff, and I bought these guys, and this is yucca root. So I actually had to look up yucca. What is yucca? Because I saw it on sale at a local Mexican market, and I bought some, and it's like a staple crop for many people around the world. It's also very good for feeding your microbiome. That's why I got it. And I like look up, how is this prepared? I know how it's grown, because being in permaculture, I mean, if you're in the tropics, yucca is the #1, you know, food crop you should grow. But I had to look it up, and I had to like learn about yucca and the benefits of yucca, and then how to prepare it. I'm going to basically be cutting off all the skin, chopping it in little pieces, and then put it into my Instant Pot, and it actually has to cook for 60 minutes to reduce some of the cyanide glycosides that are in there. So yeah, anyways, the point of the matter is, when you guys have to make your own food, you're going to learn about more nutrition, you're going to exercise your brain, create more neural connections, and learn about more nutrition in general that'll probably just help you out, you and your family, in the long run. Ninth reason to prepare your own food at home is because when you prepare your own food at home, you're more likely to get, hopefully, other family members, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, involved with the food making, and even your children, right? This will create stronger bonds and connections between you guys. Hopefully you'll also be eating together, which is a big problem these days when people just eat out. They're eating on the run, they're eating alone, and you know, you should always eat with somebody. That's so important. So yeah, community is so important, and fostering community from your local community and your family can be built by preparing foods at home together. 10th reason to prepare your own foods at home is because you can control for the toxins, allergens, and additives in the food. You know, I buy all bulk ingredients and I prepare the foods myself. You know, I buy mostly organic produce. I don't spray like toxic pesticides or use chemical fertilizers on my crops. You know, and I look at the Clean 15 Dirty Dozen list to see pesticide residues on crops that I buy that are not organic. You know, and so you can control the amount of toxins that you're getting in through the food that you're buying. In addition, some people may have allergies, peanut allergies, you know, and can you really trust that the place is peanut allergen free or gluten allergy free or dairy free, or, I mean, whatever your allergy, your things are, you know, when you do it yourself, you know for a fact that those foods, you know, that you're preparing from scratch meet your specific requirements, right? And to me, that's super important. I mean, I don't really have any allergies against anything, but, you know, I want to minimize the amount of toxins that I'm eating. If you're going out and buying bottled, you know, oat milks in like plastic, cartons and drinking it. You're getting to-go food in little plastic containers, especially if it's hot. Toxins in the plastics are releasing into there, and then you're eating them. My food I make, it's cooked in like, glass or stainless steel, and then I store it always in glass under vacuum. And my food has very minimal, if any, plastic contact time, other than maybe using a juicer that happens to be plastic, or a vacuum blender sometimes, but that's for short duration of time. So yeah, minimizing the toxins and other allergens in your food when you do it yourself. Now the last and final reason that I want you guys to prepare your food at home is, this is a little bit off the wall for some of you guys would be like, yeah, right, John, that's probably the most important thing, is that when you make your own food and prepare your own food at home, you can put your own love, intention into the food. Like, this is gonna be the most healing food. You can put your love into it. Some people may not believe in this, but it's my goal is to, always be in a happy space and put love and intention into the, fruits and vegetables I process and things I heat process and juices I create, because I believe that makes a difference. And even if you just believe it makes a difference, right? And it's placebo effect, that makes a difference, right? Think about the kid who's working at the fast food joint or at the Whole Foods, and he doesn't like his job, and I gotta make this food because I just need to pay my bills and make my rent. What kind of intention is in the food that you guys are eating? I don't really know. So once again, hopefully after watching this episode, you really realize the benefit of preparing your own food at home. And honestly, I do want to know how much you make. Not how much money you guys make, but what percentage of the food that you eat do you make at home? Please post your comments down below, as well as your comments on what you think of this style video. It's not many people that teach people about eating healthfully to really remind them to make foods at home. It is so critical. That's what I've been specializing in, and I know the exact best equipment to process your foods the least to retain the most nutrients. So be sure to watch my other videos if you guys want to learn about the best equipment to process your food so you can maximize your nutrition, if nutrition is important to you like it is for me. All right, so now I want to get into sharing with you guys some of my tips on how I'm able to prepare food at home in bulk, despite, having 3 YouTube channels that I make videos for, having a huge garden, and having to run a business, and basically just do everything else I need to do in life, all right? So my biggest tip for you guys is to, number 1, make it a priority and make time in your life to do it. If it's not a priority, you're not going to do it, and you're going to go back to your old ways, because it is surely easy enough to go to Whole Foods and buy your pre-made oat milk latte or buy your little salad that are already prepared for you. So I need you to make some time in your schedule to do it. I don't know what amount of blocks of time you could have. Maybe you could wake up a little bit earlier and have 15 minutes to make something. Even if you make a vacuum blended smoothie, that's a lot better than buying something pre-made at the store. It doesn't take a lot of time to throw some frozen berries, some coconut water, or some nut milk in the blender and blend it up with some greens. Super simple, super easy. So like smoothies are like a no-brainer. If you guys want to get into juicing, then I would actually recommend bulk juicing. I'll post some videos I made below to bulk juicing. I use the Nama J2. I could juice 8 quarts in 1 hour. So literally, I could set 1 hour aside on a weekend day, juice 8 quarts or 7 quarts, have enough juice for 1 quart a day. During the week, I vacuum store them and put them in my fridge so they store for 7 days. And that's how I'm able to drink my juice. I had a green juice today that I made last night. I was up till 10:30 last night. And sometimes you may need to stay up a little bit later to get your food prep done if it is important to you. But I want you guys to make it important to you because of all the aforementioned reasons in this episode. Third tip I want to give you guys is I want you guys to do meal prep. So when I do meal prep, I don't make a salad for the day. Hey, I could go around and harvest things from my garden, cut it all up and make a salad, and then I have this much time invested. Maybe it's a half hour of time invested, right? But if I maybe just harvest a little bit more, cut up a little bit more things, and then invest another half hour of time, then I can make salad for like the next 3 days, and then I vacuum seal them in jars. And whether you're making fresh things like I do, or whether you're making heat processed things, you could bulk prepare food. So, I also cook beans and rice with quinoa or millet, and other grains. I cook that in juice in my Instant Pot, and then I basically have enough beans for the entire week by soaking literally 2 cups of beans, which is the base of my beans plus rice plus quinoa or millet recipe. I might add also cut up mushrooms and cut up onions. But once I cook that, it's saved in the fridge, and I scoop out a little bit each day to eat. And now I have fresh beans to eat instead of like, you know, opening a can of beans every day. And this is like beans from the bulk section, right? That I've also pre-soaked, you know, under a vacuum so that they'll cook faster and retain a nicer texture. And I'll remind you guys, if you guys are eating beans, best way to soak them and then even sprout them. I don't go to that step, but I soak them and then I pressure cook them. That'll reduce the amount of things like the lectins and the things in the beans that aren't so good for us and that may cause some health challenges in excessive amounts. The fourth tip I want to give you guys is vacuum store your food. This has been a game changer for me once I started learning about putting a strong vacuum on the foods so I could prepare juices, sometimes smoothies, and other foods in advance. Of course, you could pick up a food saver at Costco. They've been selling those forever, but that machine only pulls like about 10 inches of mercury, whereas the way I store foods in mason jars with these special lids and a special vacuum pump pulls like around 20, maybe 21 inches of mercury to suck out all the excess oxygen so your foods don't oxidize or minimally oxidize while you're storing them to retain the highest level of food value. Also, by pulling out the oxygen, it's going to prevent, you know, the mold growth and may even cause your foods to spontaneously ferment sometimes. So now you have some fermented foods when I make too big of batches. So yeah, vacuum storing is critical to my bulk food prep and bulk juice prep and can definitely help you guys out as well. The other appliance that I want to recommend to you guys is an Instant Pot. An Instant Pot is incredibly easy. You know, you could just make something so quick and easy because you don't have to like sit there and watch it boiling and all this stuff. Like I bought artichokes this week for $1. Follow me on Instagram at Growing Your Greens so you guys can see what I'm up to, when I'm buying, the deals I'm getting, and all this stuff. But I bought artichokes, so like literally I just wash the artichoke, shave off the outer leaves, cut it in half, or just the little tips, and then I put it in the Instant Pot with a little water in there, and I just put it on for 33 minutes, 30 to 33 minutes for the large artichokes. Come back and they're done, and then I could eat them. It's done all the work for me. It heats it up. The pressure cooking, in my opinion, is the best method to cook at this time that I'm aware of, although super steaming may be the next new technology that I want to get my hands on, a machine from Korea. So, and then you could just eat the food. So like, you know, it's not, you don't have to like sit there watching your stuff bake or burning or turning brown in the Instant Pot. It's the best way of heating, and it's like saved me so much time so I could heat process my food quickly and easily. So yeah, that's what I'm going to tell you guys, right? Get an Instant Pot. Start heat processing your food if you guys want to do that and eat more fruits and vegetables that way. Also, I mean, just eating fruits. Always have fruits around in your house to grab and eat and go, right? Take them with you in the car. If you're out driving around and you're hungry, don't go through a drive-thru. Stop at a supermarket or a health food store and pick up a bunch of bananas and peel them and eat them, right? I was at like Sam's Club the other day. They had organic berries, blueberries, 18 ounces for like $4. And I was hungry when I was out, so I didn't just like stop at McDonald's. No, I bought a thing of blueberries at Sam's Club and ate them on the way home along with my organic carrots that I'll be juicing later. And they were gone by the time I got home, right? So it's not that hard. You just need to retrain your brain on making food in advance, doing some bulk food prep, setting some time aside, and, you know, stopping at grocery stores and health food stores instead of like a fast food restaurant or joint next time you guys want to eat. And just grab some fruit. Super simple, super easy. So those are the tips that I want to share with you guys today. If you guys enjoyed this episode learning about why you should prepare your own food, and you learned how much I make, which is 99% of my own food, then I want you guys to give this video a big thumbs up. That'll help out the YouTube algorithm, get this video pushed out to more people, as well as leave your comment down below on how much food percentage you guys make yourself personally. Also, be sure to share this video with somebody else you guys could think it could help. I think it's a very important reminder on why it's so important and critical in this day and age to make our own food so that we could control the food we're eating, especially all the ways you are sourcing and preparing the food for the greatest health benefit. If you guys like content like this, be sure to click that subscribe button right down below so you're not missing my new and upcoming episodes I come out every 5 to 7 days. You don't know where to show up or what you'll be learning on my YouTube channel. Make sure you click the bell so you get notified as the new videos come out. Also, be sure to check my past episodes. My past episodes are a wealth of knowledge. Over 600 episodes at this time on this channel dedicated to teach you guys all about eating more fresh fruits and vegetables, which are some of the healthiest plant foods on the entire planet. So with that, my name is John Kohler with OKRaw.com. We'll see you next time, and until then, remember, keep eating your fresh fruits and vegetables. They're always the best.